Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel Cracking IELTS 9.0. So today I'll be discussing Cambridge 16 Test 2 Section 3 of the General Training module. As you can see, the heading says Jobs in Ancient Egypt. So first of all, we have multiple choice questions here. And then we have matching. And then we have few fill-ups here. So without wasting any time, let's dive into the passage. So the first question is, what does the writer say about scribes in ancient Egypt? So we need to read about scribes here. So where is that? That scribes are mentioned in the first para itself. So we'll try to read this paragraph. In order to be engaged in the higher professions in ancient Egypt, a person had to be literate and so first had to become a scribe. The apprenticeship for this job lasted many years and was tough and challenging. This principally involved memorizing hieroglyphic symbols and practicing handwritten lettering. Scribes noted the everyday activities in ancient Egypt and wrote about everything from grain stocks to tax records. Therefore, most of our information on this rich culture comes from their records. Most scribes were men from privileged backgrounds. The occupation of scribe was among the most sought after in ancient Egypt. Craftspeople endeavored to their sons into the school of scribes, but they were rarely successful. We have read about scribes, right? That their apprentice has lasted many years and it was quite challenging. They were memorizing the symbols and lettering, right? And they noted everyday activities. So these are the things we read in this passage. Now let's look at the options now. What does the writer say about the scribes? See, their working days were very long. No, we didn't read anything about the working days. The topics they wrote about were very varied. Oh, very varied. Yes, I read something about this, right? Let's keep this on hold. Many of them were once ordinary working people. No, this is nowhere mentioned. Few of them realized the true value of their occupation. No, this is not at all mentioned. See guys, look at this sentence now. Scribes noted everyday activities in ancient Egypt and wrote about everything from grain stocks to tax records. So they wrote about almost a lot of different things, right? Varied things. They had a very varied, right? So grain stocks to tax records. This is our answer. So clearly 28 is B. Topics they wrote about were very varied, right? So what is the writer doing in the second paragraph? Okay, so we have to read the second paragraph, then we will come to the options, okay? So it will be easy to differentiate the options. As in many civilizations, the lower classes provided the means for those above them to live comfortable lives. You needed to work if you wanted to eat, but there was no shortage of jobs at any time in Egypt's history. The commonplace items taken for granted today, such as a brush or a bowl, had to be made by hand, laundry had to be washed by hand, cloth sewn, and sandals made from papyrus and palm leaves. In order to make these and have paper to write on, papyrus plants had to be harvested, processed, and distributed, and all these jobs needed workers. There were rewards and sometimes difficulties. The reed cutter, for example, who harvested papyrus plants along the Nile River, had to bear in mind that he worked in an area that was also home to wildlife that could prove fatal. Okay, fatal means very dangerous. Okay. Let's read the options now. Explaining why jobs were plentiful in ancient Egypt. Okay, yes, we read something about the jobs that were very plentiful. So this one looks interesting and let's keep it on hold. Okay, pointing out how honest workers were in ancient Egypt. No, we didn't read about the honesty of the workers, right? Comparing manual and professional work. No, there is no comparison, guys. Noting the range of duties an individual worker had in ancient Egypt. No, it is not about individual worker. They spoke about a lot of workers. So only option 1 is remaining, guys. So they gave an explanation about why jobs were plentiful. Yes, sentence, guys. But there was no shortage of jobs at any time in Egypt's history. Okay, so there was no shortage of jobs. Why there was no shortage? The whole thing is the explanation. Okay, about, see, bowl or a brush made by hand, laundry by hand, clothing, and the sandals by papyrus trees, also by harvesting, processing these seeds. All these things needed workers, right? So all this thing is the explanation. A clearly. Okay, let's move to the next one. What is the writer doing in the 5th paragraph? Okay, let's read the 5th paragraph now. Making a living, regardless of one's special skills, was taking part in the king's monumental buildings projects. Although it is commonly believed that the great monuments and temples of Egypt were achieved through slave labor, there is absolutely no evidence to support this. Okay, the pyramids and other monuments were built by Egyptian laborers who either donated their time as community service or were paid for their labor, and Egyptians from every occupation could be called on to do this. Great. Explaining a problem? No, I don't think so. He is not giving any explanation, right? Describing a change? No, there was no change he was describing. Rejecting a popular view. Oh, this one looks interesting to me. He was rejecting a popular view. Criticizing a past activity? No, not at all. So C looks more relevant to me. How is that? Although it is commonly believed that the great monuments and temples of Egypt were achieved through slave labor. So this is the common view. It is commonly believed means common view, right? There is absolutely no evidence to support this. So here he rejected. From here to here, he rejected this view. There is no evidence. So he rejected this view. So C is the right answer, rejecting a popular view. So C is correct. The writer refers to the value of ma'at in order to explain dash. So the value of ma'at is talking about. Where is that? So ma'at is here, guys, right? Value of ma'at. So let's read this paragraph. While these artists are highly skilled, everyone, no matter what their job for the rest of the year, was expected to contribute to communal projects. This practice was in keeping with the value of math, harmony and balance, which was central to Egyptian culture. One was expected to care for others as much as oneself, and contributing to the common good was an expression of this. Okay. There was no doubt there were many people who did not love their job every day, but the Egyptian government was aware of how hard the people worked, and so staged a number of festivals throughout the year to show gratitude and give them days off to relax. Oh, great. So what is the value of math here? See, the practice was in keeping with the value of math, harmony and balance, which was central. One was expected to care for others as much as oneself, and contributing to common good was the expression of this. So this is the meaning of math. Let's look at the options. How the work of artists reflected beliefs in ancient Egypt? No, he didn't talk about the work of artists. Next, how ancient Egyptians viewed their role in the society? Oh, yes, he was talking about everyone's role in the society, right? So this one is a bit matching. Let's keep it on hold. Next, why the opinions of certain people were valued in ancient Egypt? No, we didn't read anything about this. Why ancient Egyptians expressed their views so readily? No, not at all. So B is clearly matching, guys. How ancient Egyptians viewed their role in the society. Where is that? What is their role? One was expected to care for others as much as oneself and contributing to the common good. So this is the role of each person, and that is the value of math, harmony and balance. It brings harmony and balance in the society. Okay. Is the right answer. Next. Which word best describes the attitude of Egyptian government towards its workers? Okay, we have just read about it in the paragraph. See, in the last few sentences. But the Egyptian government was aware of how hard the people worked, and so staged a number of festivals throughout the year to show gratitude. Okay, gratitude and give them days off to relax. Gratitude means, look at this. Is it strict? No. Patient? No. Negligent? No. Appreciative, of course. They are showing the gratitude towards their workers, means they were appreciating their efforts. Move to the next set of question, guys. These are the matchings. Okay. Was unable to work at certain times, divided workers into groups, faced daily hazards, underwent long periods of training. Okay, till now we have read few paragraphs, right? We have read some 3 to 4 paragraphs. So, is there anything matching with it? Yes, I think so. Few things are matching. What is that? Faced daily hazards. After reading this, something came up to my mind. What is that? Look at the last sentence of the second paragraph. The reed cutter, for example, who harvested papyrus plants along the Nile, had to bear in mind, means he should be careful, that he worked in an area that was also home to the wildlife. That could prove fatal, means dangerous, means hazardous. So he has to face it on a daily basis, right? Because he's doing the farming of papyrus plants, right? So this could prove fatal. So this is matching with what is given. What is the answer? Reed cutter. So reed cutter has to face these every day. So faced daily hazards. Fatal, right? 35 is the reed cutter, B. So yes, 35 is B clearly. Okay. Then is there anything else? I think the last one, underwent a long period of training. Okay, training, long period. I'll tell you how. My advice is, so please keep in mind, okay, once you read the paragraph, you should not forget the content. Okay, once you read the paragraph, you should remember what it contains. Then only it will be easy for you to answer the next questions. Okay. So let's look at the second sentence here. The apprenticeship for this job lasted many years and was tough and challenging. Oh wow, I got the answer. Look at this sentence now. Underwent a long period of training. Training means apprenticeship, long period, many years. Got it? So who are they? Scribes, right? To become a scribe, they underwent all this process. So 36 underwent a long period of training. Who? Scribes, right? So 36 one is A clearly. Okay. So we have something called farmers, potters, stonemen, and all this. So let's read the paragraphs, remaining paragraphs. Okay. Let's read the third paragraph now. At the bottom rung of all these jobs were the people who served as the basis for the entire economy, the farmers. Farmers usually did not own the land they worked. They were given food, implements, and living quarters as payment for their labor. Although there were many more glamorous jobs than farming, farmers were the backbone of the Egyptian economy and sustained everyone else. Let's read the seventh paragraph. The blocks were then moved into position by unskilled laborers. These people were mostly farmers who could do nothing with their land during the months when the Nile River overflowed its banks. Okay, I think we have some answer here, guys. See, so farmers did nothing when the Nile River overflowed its bank. Okay, during the months, means for a few months Nile River was overflowing. At that time, farmers did nothing. So was unable to work at certain times. Who are they? Farmers, right? So when the Nile River was overflowing, they were unable to work, right? So 33 is clearly C, guys. Psychologist Bob Breyer and Hyatt Hobbs explain, for 2 months annually, workmen gathered by the tens of thousands from all over the country to transport the blocks a permanent crew had quarried during the rest of the year. Overseers organized the men into teams to transport the stones on the sleds. Once the pyramid was complete, the inner chambers needed to be decorated by scribes who painted elaborate images on the walls. Interior work on tombs and temples also required sculptors who could expertly cut away the stone around certain figures or scenes that had been painted. Okay, so we have read something about the overseers, right? What is that? They organized men into teams to transport the stones. Okay, men into teams. Divided workers into groups. Okay, who were they? Overseer, F, right? So 34 is clearly F, guys. Building projects. Laborers who worked on the king's buildings were local people who chose to participate in dash or who received the payment. Okay, okay. The pyramids and other monuments were built by Egyptian laborers who either donated their time as community service or were paid for their labor. Okay. Who received payment means paid for their labor. So this is matching. Before that, what it is? Who either donated time as a community service means participated in community service. Here we can write two words maximum. So the answer is community service, right? So next one. The work involved breaking up stone cliffs using wooden wedges. The large pieces of stone were then transported to another site on sleds, which moved easily over the dash. So sleds moved easily over something. What is that? And by inserting wooden wedges in the rock, which would swell and cause the stone to break from the face. The often huge blocks were then pushed onto sleds, devices better suited than wheeled vehicles to moving weighty objects over shifting sand. Oh, yes, we got the answer. So, which moved easily over dash? See, wheeled vehicles to move weighty objects over the shifting sand. So, shifting sand is our answer clearly. Next, here the blocks could be cut and shaped using tools made of dash and wood. Some of these had to be sharpened regularly. Okay, so he's talking about box. The blocks could be cut and shaped using tools made of dash and wood. So something is there and wood is there. What is that? They were then rolled into different location where they could be cut and shaped. Okay, this is what we are talking about, cut and shaped. This job was done by skilled stonemasons working with copper chisels and wooden mallets. So these are the tools. Tools means these mallets and chisels. Now made of what? Copper and wood, right? Wood is already given there. So answer is copper, right? Eventually the stone was moved into place to create a building. The job of moving the stone was often done by dash or unskilled workers. Okay, so moving the stone was done by someone and unskilled workers. This is already given. So what is the other one? See, the blocks were then moved into position by the unskilled laborers. We got one option. These people were mostly farmers who could do nothing with their land during the months when the Nile River overflowed its bank. So they were the farmers. So unskilled laborers is one thing that is already given here. So who are the other people? Farmers. See, often done by, often done. Here he gave mostly. Okay, so mostly means often. Farmers. Right, guys? So we have answered all the questions. I hope this passage was pretty easy, not much difficult, right? Please comment in the comment section if you have any doubts regarding this. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my video. These videos are extremely helpful for people who want to crack their IELTS test. If you can follow my tips and tricks, I am sure that you can score more than 8 bands in the IELTS reading module. So please keep following my channel and please subscribe my channel. So until next time, goodbye. Have a great day, guys.